We limit our practice to personal injury cases of all types. I started the practice 31 years ago and limited the practice to personal injury cases only, and since then we've handled in excess of 14,000 cases involving injuries of all kinds and involving virtually every single imaginable fact situation or liability situation. Recently, we were asked to represent a gentleman, kind of an interesting and unfortunate accident where he was driving his truck down the street. It was a two-lane roadway with a center median, a grass median. And our client was driving his pickup truck in the fast lane, the lane closest to that median, when around the same time a commercial landscape company employee, a gardener, was mowing the lawn on that median with a heavy-duty commercial lawnmower. And unfortunately, that gardener mowed over a 28-inch rod, and the three blades that were moving at a very high rate of speed caught that rod and caused the rod to be shot out like a projectile and shoot out through the air into the driver's side window of the pickup truck that our client was driving in, right as he drove by. And it not only struck him in the nose and broke his nose and struck him in above the eye and the eyebrow and sliced it open, but it hit him in the eye and it did damage to his left eye that resulted in visual impairment. And ultimately he became legally blind. The unfortunate part for our client, who was 55 years old, was that he was already legally blind in his right eye since he was 2 years old. What further complicated the case was that he was diagnosed with leukemia about 2 years before this accident. Prior to the accident, he developed an ocular graft versus host disease, which was basically severe dry eyes. So one of the big issues in this case was whether or not our client's left eye, his good eye, would have progressively dried out to the point where he may have become legally blind anyway had this accident not occurred. And of course our position was that he probably wouldn't have, or at a minimum, this trauma aggravated and exacerbated that pre-existing condition and that he was unusually susceptible. So after years of denial and extensive discovery and back and forths, we settled the case for $3.5 million for our client. And it was an exceptionally good settlement based on the injuries and all of the issues involved in the case. And what was most rewarding was that our client's life was completely changed as a result. We brought MotionLit in probably midway through the litigation and discovery on this case. We provided MotionLit with all the information about our client, and it turned out to be an exceptionally good and tear-jerking real day in the life where the focus wasn't just on our client trying to really demonstrate what life was like for him before he had this trauma to his left eye, noting that life was pretty normal for him. He worked full-time. He was a father with a son who was 20 years old who had special needs. The few joys that he had with his son before the accident were taken away from him. The second part of what MotionLit did was relative to the animation. MotionLit got involved with our experts and got the specs to a T. So they did the reconstruction, recreation as a part of this overall day in the life video. What I've realized over the years that I've been doing this, and I've been doing this now for 31 years as a lawyer and altogether 38 years in the industry, is that you have to stay kind of a half a step or a step ahead of the defense. So in my opinion, on significant injury cases, it's never too early to get the case ready and put together the package in a video form. So it made it easy for me in bringing MotionLit in to know that if this case did not settle, whenever, pre-litigation or during litigation, at a mediation, and if we were going to go to trial, that they were there not only to assist in document-supported trial. MotionLit, my experience, is a complete, like, all-in-one service for trial support for plaintiff trial lawyers. I use MotionLit because they're accessible. I can get through to anyone working there on my case 24/7. For me, it's a comfort level, and it's feeling that they know what I'm doing, they know where I'm at. I feel like they bring to the table for me a ton of experience, having worked on a lot of big cases with some of the best attorneys around, so I like that. There's kind of a winning spirit, a winning philosophy. There's a quiet confidence that MotionLit brings around, that once they're in with you, they're in with you, and you feel like you're going to win the case.